My next guest is the person who was standing in front of that building and spoke for about 6 minutes from the heart about how he felt about the coronavirus shutdown. He is a medical doctor and associate clinical professor at University of California, Irvine School of Medicine, where he got his medical degree. His area of specialty is family medicine. He also co-founded Personal Care. That one is one of the, I think it's the first primary care concierge medical group in Southern California. And undergraduate degree at USC. Won't hold that against him. Please welcome to the program Dr. Jeffrey Barke. Doctor, thank you very much for coming on. I appreciate it.
Hi, Sage. Thanks for having me. Let me clarify that my relationship with UC Irvine is a past relationship. I'm no longer on staff there. And you also forgot to tell your audience how handsome I am. You left that part out as well.
Well, then I'd have to tell them how handsome I am. Then all we'd be doing is talking about ourselves for the next 15 minutes. Dr. Barke, what prompted you to come out and give that, that sort of, it almost sounded like you were running for office. My goodness, it was very impressive.
Oh, no. Don't get me started. I'm not running for office.
All right.
My wife and I were both invited out to Riverside, and I was asked to say a few words to a group that was basically protesting before the Riverside County Board of Supervisors meeting, where they were going to vote to reopen the county of Riverside. So I asked my wife to take a few pictures so we can send family and friends and so forth, but instead she decided to turn the video on, and a little bit later in that day she posted that video to Facebook, and next thing I know, I have Larry Elder calling me to appear on his show.
Well, a number of people sent it to me, and I said, I know Dr. Barke, and you were amazing. Now, give us in 25 words or so less what your position is about the coronavirus pandemic. How should we have responded to it, in your opinion?
Definitely not the way we did.
Mm-hmm.
So don't get me wrong. The coronavirus is a very dangerous virus, and it's very infectious, but it disproportionately affects older people and those that are at highest risk.
Mm-hmm.
And it pretty much completely spares younger folks and those that have very healthy immune systems. So we should have reacted to this the same way we do to influenza every year, the same way we have to other respiratory viruses. That is, those that are at lower risk should go about their business. Many of those would get exposed to the virus and do perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
They would then create the herd immunity necessary to protect the most vulnerable, our older adults, older Americans, and those that have significant pre-existing conditions. So we should never have closed our schools the way we did, because in effect what we've done is we put the healthiest herd quarantined indoors and prevented them from participating with herd immunity.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that made a little bit of sense early on when some of our healthcare systems were overwhelmed, like in New York and New Jersey and for a time in Seattle. But it makes no sense 50 or 60 days now into it that we continue in many parts to be quarantined.
My guest is Dr. Jeffrey Barke. He is a family physician here in Southern California. Dr. Barke, I have been studying the 1918 Spanish flu pandemic. I think Donald Trump referred to it as the 1917 pandemic, but I think it's 1918. I've looked at the 1957 one. I looked at the 1969, 68, 71, depending upon where you think it started, which took place, by the way, the same year that Woodstock was. And I've noticed that in no other case did the government shut down. Did the recommendation come from the federal government to shut down? And it seems to me, crudely put, absent a treatment or a vaccine, the best we can do is let it run its course. And by that it means by that I mean a certain number of people are going to get infected. A certain number of people, no matter how we practice mitigation policies, are going to die from this, and there's not a whole lot we can do about it other than to make it worse by putting healthy people inside and preventing what I just now said from taking its course, absent treatment or a vaccine.
Sage, you are 100% correct, and I am voting for you for the next Surgeon General.
I think I have to go to medical school first, don't I? Don't I have to be?
I don't know. I don't know. Is that a requirement? Do you actually
I guess
have to be a doctor to be a Surgeon General? I'm not sure.
Dr. J never went to medical school and didn't stop him, did it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think it's more common sense, and part of the problem here is fear. The fear induced by the media. So every single night we see the worst case scenario. If a young person dies of COVID-19, it's flashed across the big screen without any context placed on that. The fact is that every year influenza, about 25% of influenza victims are younger people, not older people. So it can affect younger people, but disproportionately it affects older people, and children do very well. You can almost count on one hand the number of folks that have died less than the age of 40. So when we talk about opening up our schools, obviously K through 12, these are young children with healthy, robust immune systems that are going to do perfectly fine against this virus. And the more that they're exposed, the less vulnerable the folks that need to be careful are. And that's older folks above 60, 70 years old, those with significant pre-existing conditions. So you're absolutely right, Sage. And maybe we should hold our own Woodstock right now to just show people.
Dr. Jeffrey Barke has been my guest. He is a family medicine doctor in Newport Beach. His website is personalcarephysicians.com. Dr. Barke, we just have 30 seconds left. Have you changed anything personally? Have you restricted your own personal activities? Are there certain places you're no longer going to because of the coronavirus pandemic?
Well, I'm a lot younger than you are, and so no.
And of course, more handsome. So.
And more handsome, too.
Yeah.
So, no, I really haven't changed. Obviously, I use common sense approaches. I try not to touch my face. I wash my hands frequently. I'm extra careful where I can be careful. But in general, no, I haven't really changed anything. And you look at people jogging with masks on and riding their bikes, driving in a car solo with masks and gloves on. I think we've gone crazy here in this country.
Dr. Barke, we're going to have to leave it there. Dr. Jeffrey Barke.